Right, so we're here after the grand final with Splicko from Athletico. I gotta ask, how's it feel to win?
This one feels amazing. This one feels incredible. Last few lands we've been to, you come in as the champs, the reigning champs, the complete favourites, and those ones get nerve-wracking because if you lose, there's so much on the line. If you win, everyone expected it of you. But this one was really different. We were missing our star player, Zemistry, in the mid lane, and because of the late notice, we had to switch around some roles, and I got put on mid lane, and Ningy, our super sub, by the way, I think he played phenomenal. I think he man of the match for sure. And me on the mid lane was a bit scary, not too scary, but when you bring into account Miguel Z coming back into the scene, a very dominant C player, I was very nervous. If you asked all my whole team all today, I was a nervous wreck because I felt like he was going to just give me the treatment, but I feel really good about myself because I felt like I held my own against him in the lane, and then I made plays that I knew I could make to come back in, and that's why this one meant a lot to me, just because I got to experience something new, a new lane, a new opponent, and on top of it all, this event is incredible. Like, the production value is just insane.
Yeah, because you guys have won a fair few in a row now.
Yeah.
It seems like you're just dominating everything. Do you think it's fair to say that you're the best team in the ANZ region?
Oh, for sure. I would have said it many months ago still. And it's not from a technical point of view or mechanical at all, like clicking the buttons and all. It's just sticking together, good teamwork, and we all agree on the same thing, and that's the main thing. It's just having a captain and a co-captain that consolidates the team, and that's what I co-captain Fury, and he captains, and everyone just respects each other, and that's all we keep running off. We don't run off anything too special, no crazy training schedules, no nothing. We just all trust each other to the full of our ability, because I think that's how you win games.
So if we're talking about that and how it's so tight as a team, and then you have to bring in a sub last minute, how well can they mesh in?
So I think with our sort of team environment, it's very easy to come into it because none of us will ever put you down. We try to give you your best game. We try to give you exactly what you would want in your perfect scenario. So both games, our super sub Ningy, he picked his hero, picked what lane, he picked everything, he picked his items, he just did absolutely everything that he wanted to do, and we sacrificed what we need to do to make that happen, and we put him as comfortable as possible. He contemplated not coming to the LAN today a week ago because he thought he wasn't good enough to play, and you can't tell me that kid's not amazing. Oh my god. He made me like sometimes I just stopped playing and I was just watching him because it just looked magical. Like his catches on the Alchemist in the first game, so bringing someone in is really easy. It's hard losing that extra man, that player you really care about, but bringing in a new one just feels easy when we're all friends. We all go out, we all talk so often that he just fit right in. And if it was ever something he could do better, we'd tell him, and he just gracefully accepts it. And yeah.
So total friendship, outside of the game and everything, and then when it gets into the game from an audience perspective, you guys, the most hyped team out of the two we saw here. Is that just to keep everybody rolling?
It's the best thing we do. It's the one thing, one of the few things we love the most, and it's honestly the day that we all wait for every 2 or 3 months because there's so little in the scene right now. But it's the day we all wait for. So when we get to it, between me, Fury, and Tekor, we've been long mates. Me and Sam are best mates for 4 to 6 years. Tekor, I've known him for about 5 years, and we've been playing together for 2.5. Like, we just have fun because there's no reason coming here to not have fun, and yeah. That's all I can say. It's a lot of fun.
So your performance in this tournament as a whole, you guys came into this unbeaten and then you walk out of this unbeaten. Is there anything that could have gone better for you in this tournament?
I loved having Ningy here, but I would have loved to have Sam here. Zemistry he was gutted when he found out it was on a weekday because of his very hard commitment to uni and becoming a doctor. So I was a little sad that we didn't get to bring him along for the ride, and I feel really bad for him because this is the most amazing event yet, and he didn't get to be a part of it. And so I do feel bad for him because I know he would have loved to be, and I knew he was watching at home, and I knew he was just gutted that he didn't get to be. Happy for us, I'm sure, but yeah.
Gonna take a bag full of Pringles home for him?
I wish. I only got carry on.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately. I've been given way too many freebies already, so I'm probably going to go over that 7 kilos. I'll probably triple jumper and put some Pringles in the side.
Just keep stacking. They don't weigh you.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect solution.
Yeah, that's it.
So, looking at Dota as more of a casual fan, at the start of the game, that hero draft, how important is that? Because it seemed like one thing could go wrong or something could be changed different in the course of the game changes.
Yeah, I think drafting, and it's not just drafting. You're not just picking the hero. You're creating the strategy you're going to go with that you all agree on. Because if you don't all agree on it, you're not going to play the strategy right, and then you will never know why it didn't work because you didn't play it to the best of your ability because you didn't believe in it. So I believe the draft is about 85% of it. 15% of it comes down to individual play. So if we were versing a top tier team in the world, we'd just get flogged on that 15%. But I feel like our strategy could hold up, but I think mechanically we'd fall off. So I do believe it's one of the most important things in Dota, and that's what me and Fury spend hours and hours and hours talking about. And that's the one thing we do is strategize. I don't play my heroes, I talk about the game more because that's what you need to do.
So when you're doing that sort of strategy stuff, is it more, I guess, about what your team is going to have to do or counter-strating what the other team is going to?
You never play to denying the enemy because that's playing to lose. You play to your strength and you play to your win condition is what I like to do. Many teams do it internationally and they make it work because they can all agree on it, but for me and Sam, we personally agree that you play to win. You don't play to lose, you play to win. So we create a strategy we're winning with. We create a strategy that's going to beat what they've tried to come up with, and then we just go with what we know we're good at. So there were a few times in those games where we didn't know if it was the right call, but we said it at the start. That's what we're going to do. So we just did it anyways, and it pays off.
So if we look at the difference between Game 1 and Game 2, Game 1 seemed a lot closer, and then we head into Game 2, and there was no hope at that point. It was just a steamroll. What was the difference?
There are a few factors, I'd like to believe. I think in the first game, the stats are skewed because of the Alchemist. He makes it so games at 25 minutes are just naturally hard. Unless you have 5 heroes that can just push a lane, the game's always going to look a little hard, but he's not a very good hero in the mid to late game because he caps out his items, he's not that useful. As soon as you have the things to deal with him, which we did, we had lots of minus armor to make sure we could cut through him. And then obviously the Juggernaut all day will contest the Alch hit for hit. So when it got to 30 minutes, it looked bad, but we were always in control. We were always going to win that in the late game, especially because of the Clink's 25 talent, Searing Arrow's split shot. So it changes your damage from X amount of fight to literally double. And Clink's, if you saw the end game screen, unfortunately I don't think you guys get to, but it was a 50k damage on the Clink's. And it's very hard to play into heroes like Axe in the late game because unless you have that banish, you can't save your ally. Clink's 25 and then Juggernaut is unkillable. So we were never worried about that game. It's just the second game, it looked worse than it was because they were crumbling as a team. And that's just the lack of being a team for a while. They got a new sub, new positions, new roles, and just in general, I think spirits dropped and comms would have dropped, I believe, because that's what tends to happen in newer teams is they don't know what to do. You go a bit quiet, and then that's when us screaming in the other booth probably puts them off a little bit. You know, having a good time is, It's
a double-edged sword. It gets you guys hyped and gets into their head.
That's exactly it. You need to be feeling it, I guess. It's a LAN. LANs are different to sitting at home at your computer, and you come here, you need to be able to take the pressure as well. And TN couldn't handle the pressure. We're good mates.
So I guess what's next for Athletico?
We're going to keep doing what we've been doing. We're going to keep playing every Oz tournament we can. We're looking to branch into the C tournaments, even though we're hit with that ping. We're going to keep playing every single Oz tournament, trying to help as many people as we can in the scene in terms of learning. We're best friends with 2 or 3 other people in the other team, and we talk non-stop. We tell them all our strategies, and we say, beat us. We want you to beat us, because if you beat us, we've got to get better to beat you. So we don't hold back in making sure everyone knows how to beat us, why to beat us, because we just want to make Oz better, and that's what our whole goal was from the beginning when we joined Athletico.
Cool. Thanks a lot for the chat.
Awesome. Cheers for that.
And I'll let you go celebrate.
Awesome. Cheers.